Okay, looks like we're live. Hi, Leo. I am I'm your host, Verde or Busto, and this is my channel. I'm doing a video. This is me as a college DJ, in a way I never could, just spinning records. I make my own. I make my own videos, my own content. Largely, it's been my own writing. Even though I do the research, the deep dive research, and even though I talk at length about the technical and scientific aspects of Schumann Reaonances, that's all my stuff, right? And I have plenty of research, copious research, where I've given to the researchers credit, right? Like there's a lot, why not, right? It's their work, it's not mine. So I have, the channel has largely been dedicated toward the research and the technical stuff. And with the change and the studio and the motorhome, losing what I have to the motorhome, and I'll give you an update on that. Losing everything, at least the access to it, right? Losing the potential future of it, not knowing what has sharpened up my kind of vision of the channel and what I'm doing and the direction I want to move in and all of that stuff. And it's my belief that the true healing for humans doesn't come externally, right? It comes from the heart, one person to another. Empathy, sympathy, compassion, whatever road you're taking. And that's what the most wonderful, beautiful part of the human experience is what comes from the heart, the middle path. The middle path is what starts at the heart first, right? And that's what I believe, that's what I practice, that's what the magic of the religion of the Schumann is about. And no, there isn't a religious system to the Schumann Reaonances. However, people do treat this as if it's a religious experience, so why not turn it into a church, all right? Donate to my church, the Church of the Schumann. So, with that sales pitch, these little short videos, the 10 to 30 minute videos, are, I call them PBS-like fundraisers. They're to kind of bring up to you all my plight and, being homeless and, this is my work. The channel is my work. I'm here doing this 2 videos a day, right? Talking about all kinds of subject matter related to Schumann Reaonances and what the principle of the electromagnetics are related to a spiritual experience and related to living a spiritual, etheric, astral life, living in 5D, 4D, 5D, all of this, new age mumbo jumbo bullshit. How does it apply, right? That's what this is. A lot of people talk about the Schumann Reaonances, just, how does it make me feel? As if the feelings are what are, obviously I got feelings, so that's what's, that's the sign that I'm ascending or I'm spiritually evolving. And yet, you ask them what work they're doing. They're insulted that they would have to do any work for spiritual elevation when it's all being done for them with the rising frequencies, right? So I'm here with my reverse tower card, the motorhome gone away for the time being. All of my stuff is going away as well. A lot of it may or may not be ruined, and I have to go up there and get my stuff. And again, there's an update on this, but the part of this session, this group, this kind of latest iteration of my channel is talking about looking at the abyss as it all comes crumbling and crashing down, screaming and crashing. And it's important at this point that people consider this not just for themselves, but for other people, right? How well off are you? What's your plan? right? What's your plan? I thought the rising sea waters would take it, but nope. All right. So you got to always have at least your bug out bag ready by the door with your documents, your battery, extra phone charger, first aid kit, whatever you think you're going to need. That should be ready and prepped right by the door. Okay. So I'm now shifting gears, going from the impersonal, the scientific and technical, which I had been, granted it was my, it's my personal spin on it, my attitude, whatever, but we're moving, society is moving from the impersonal science into the personal of how it applies. And that's what the whole thing of rising frequencies, how do I put this? The rot, I don't know any better way to put it, but the misuse of the phrase frequencies from a technical into an emotional experience is one of I'm at a loss for words. That's one of the kind of the key indicators there, key signs, key top of the iceberg type of indicators that of what I'm talking about, of the decay of the impersonal as the guide to, right, the principle, sticking with the principle, the universal law, universal principle, works the same for everyone, right? That, the impersonal, the principle, right, becoming personalized so that it only applies to rising frequencies, right? Like, I'm trying to take you along here in this journey of the misappropriation of the vocabulary, and it's maybe a little difficult because it is rather a complicated area, and you're overrun by the shit, right? Simply, a lot of this vocabulary no longer makes sense, right? And that's part of the problem that we as a society are having. But I, in my journey here of trying to explain, the technical, that a person, me, I have found on more than one occasion, I get accused of withholding information because I'm not giving some type of a personality into it as my feelings set and the woo-woo of the new age stuff. And so because I'm leaving that out, there's obviously something, I'm withholding information, and so I'm manipulating stuff. And yet, while at the same time, the vocabulary gets mangled and misused and misrepresented, and this is a problem. This is a problem in society, that it's not that the information isn't there, it's not that you can't know it, but it is misused, mislabeled, mishandled, misappropriated. For example, again, frequencies. The technical gets substituted for a spiritual experience. And this is part of the problem, part of the issue with Schumann Reaonances, is that it requires someone with a high degree of technical understanding to unravel all of these misused phrases so that it's understood by the average person. And that's what I'm looking for in my channel, is so that the average person can understand these highly technical stuff. Yet at the end of the day, you may not get the highly technical stuff, and you're still left with how it applies. And I will tell you, that is all based on you grounding, on how well you ground, and how well you dismiss and just not even bother considering a lot of the unattached, unhinged phrases that are not of necessity attached to a physical experience, a physical expression of something, right? And largely, likely, that physical expression is likely going to have to be losing something, smashing, crashing, clearing. The shadow side, the darkness creeping up on you, you making a deal with the devil, you shaking hands or kissing a demon, any of that. Flashing the occult, or all of these weird ass shit that's unhinged in anything practical, any practical exercises. Right? Trying to find some of the words here. The problem with ad-libbing is that I can get some of this, and then there's these vocabulary words that are like, oh man, what the fuck is a picture? I'm always trying to give you a picture, right? So that's part of one of the expressions of the true spiritual is not that it really even has to do with God or even the supernatural, but emotional balance, and it has to do with a personality change, right? And that's where I, and me, and my ego, and my shitty, crappy attitude have to get out of my own way in order to let the force of the electromagnetics, or the force of the field of conscious intention, or the field of ask and ye shall receive, right? But you got to meditate. You got to wait for an answer, right? So there are a number of forces that are involved that you can evoke if you get yourself out of the way, and it's part of the spiritual working of the Schumann Reaonances as a spiritual plan of recovery, if it is anything, right? That you have both the electric and the magnetic. You have the voltage, which is impersonal. That's the thinking process, and then you have that which comes from the heart, the middle path, heart-centered vocabulary and thinking and activity, and that is what motivates us along as a society. Not the thinking, not the raising of the frequencies and all of that new age mumbly jumbo, but what really truly moves you from the heart, from one to another: empathy, sympathy, compassion, whichever of that vehicle you want to take. That is what causes a person to ascend, and not any of the other vocabulary that we can't even localize to any other force. Right? What is your vocabulary attached to? You talk about rising frequencies. How are you using the word? Right? Are rising frequencies a spiritual experience? I don't know. Define to me what frequencies, how you're using it. Define rising, what that means, right? Yeah, these words seem simple enough. They are in their technical aspect, but you're not using them technically correct. You're trying to apply, scientific technical terms into a philosophical, some type of encounter experience or whatever. Like, no, they don't make sense. They no longer make sense. Those words are broken. Sorry. Right? Rising, frequency, ascension, energies, all of this, right? It's all technical mumbo jumbo in place of true spiritual development. Right? And the even the worst part, what's even worse about the rising frequencies is that there is this assumption that those rising frequencies are going to do the job for you automatically, what you can't do or won't do or don't know how to do for yourself. And that's not true. It's not true. And that's also not true, right? If you do not do the clearing work, it will be done for you. And you may not like the way the universe deals your cards out, right? And so at this time, it's important to do your clearing and your cleaning, right? All right, so I was, there was something I was going to move back to, but circle it back around to, but I'll just let it hanging there, and I'll watch the video maybe, and I'll catch it on the next one. Anyway, so, all right, so, oh, good God, 14 minutes into it. Let me give you a little quick update on the motorhome. The tow company is okay. I just need to say this. They're not really, how do I say this? The tow company, Felipe's, I don't know if I should mention them by name, but I'm not complaining about them. The tow racket is is it's not a high margin. You know, they made whatever they charge for towing. You know, it's like they're not getting wealthy. You know, they're not getting rich. A lot of people actually have to give up their vehicle. More people than you might think have to give up their vehicle, and they have to scrap it. Like, just so you know, that if the tow truck company has a vehicle left over, they don't sell it as a used car, they sell it as scrap. Just so you know. All right, first off, they don't let you go to your car. None of them ever, I think maybe since the beginning of towing, maybe ever, let you go to your vehicle without giving them money to access your car. None of them. Never heard of any tow truck company that does. So it's not that they denied me access to my stuff, it's that they need their costs covered. There's a minimum of the $600, the tow cost, not counting the storage, right? So it's important to know that a big chunk of what I owed them went to storage, right? That's their extra lot they have for cars that don't, like, they charge me more because it's a bigger fucking thing, right? So the tow truck companies the tow companies don't want to hold on to your property. They don't want to hold on to your stuff. They want you to come and pick your stuff up, right? And if you don't, they may very well, they'll hold on to it, but they don't want to hold on to it, right? What the fuck do they want your car for? Your used as car, right? I mean, maybe if it's a Corvette, but they can't sell it as, they can't sell your car as a car, right? Just understand that. I think a lot of people may not understand this. They have to scrap your vehicle, which means they got to clear it out. In order to get the most money for it, they got to throw away stuff that's not metal, right? So now there's work involved for the tow truck companies, and you better fucking believe it. You come up with the least minimum amount that you can, and they will let you access your stuff, okay? I need to be clear about this, that they haven't ever denied me access to my stuff. Please don't think harshly of them. Please don't call them POS, tow truck companies, for doing what all of them, since time immemorial, probably even back in Pharaoh's day, I'm sure. Pharaoh, and they were towing your rickshaw, your carrier, your chariot. Thank you. They towed your chariot. No, they're not letting your chariot out of the stable until you pay the taxman his money, right? That just doesn't happen. So I haven't necessarily had a bad experience with the tow company. I talked with, from the beginning, I let this gentleman know I don't really have any money for this. I told him what I had, and he wanted to take care of it day one, right? If I gave him $500 at day one, he would have let me access that stuff at day one, but it ran up the bill, and even at that point, that's more than, like, just $500 is more than really this thing is worth, because of the windows are broken, they ripped the ignition out, it's no longer, it can't pass the safety inspection, right? It's just got too much damage, and the thing is only worth, at this point, we're guessing the scrap is at about $1,000. That's what the tow truck driver kind of estimates. He's the one that he would know best at what the weight is. The tow truck driver is going to know the best out of anyone what the frickin' weight of this thing is, right? So they have allowed me access to my stuff, right? I went up with a Honda today. I'll just say this. I went up with a Honda Civic. A guy from my meeting took me up there. It's a little four-door. I didn't have room for much stuff, but I did find, hallelujah, the majority of the stuff for the studio. The laptop, I got that back. The Wacom tablet, I got that back. Looks like the cables, I got them back. Some of the speakers, I got little small speakers I have for the laptop. It seemed to be that stuff was way in the back, and it was it looked like I had given up a sacrifice of enough crap that I would have liked to have kept, but they, like a camera, I had a 35 millimeter, like an SLR digital camera that got sacrificed. Some of the studio stuff got sacrificed, but the heart of the studio, I still got that. And a bunch of the tools, the DeWalt tools, I got those back. There was another tool bag that I couldn't find. He's letting me have access for another week, right? They look at me. The tow truck companies don't want my crap, all right? They don't want your shit. They don't want your crap. Get it out, right? Can you take it all? They'd be happy too, right? I paid them a minimum. I get $450 is what I have, and now I'm broke, right? So I gave to them the best I could. You know, they once you hand over the title to him, he's not charging me anymore. It's his storage. It's on his dime. So all of the storage, right? All of that can get wiped away, right? So the minimum that I needed was $600 for the tow. So I'm still $150 short for that, but he took, you know, like he's just gonna take it as payment in scrap, but he's losing. He's losing even with the tow and the hookup. And he still has to bring the damn thing the 40 miles to the recycle yard, you know? So the tow truck company they're just following the standard procedures of a shitty industry, right? This guy, when he wasn't cruising around, let's just kind of set the scenario. This wasn't a parking violation chaser, like some of them on Thayer Street, like, you know, that have a racket up there. That's not what this guy was doing. He wasn't looking for work, you know. He got a call from the owner of the industrial park that said, you got to remove this, and now he needs to collect from me, right? I don't know how much, what, if anything, he collected from the owner of the property, but it's not on the owner of the property to secure the vehicle and blah, 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 blah. So the tow truck the tow truck company is on the hook for the least amount, at least $600 theoretically. Maybe, you know, like, let's just say for the sake of conversation, the $450 covered the cost of the tow in theory, right? But there's still another $500 tow to the recycle place. So anyway, so they're letting me, I'm just saying this, they're letting me have access for some more days so I can get as much of my crap out of there as possible. I'd like to get a rental van. Can you please donate, you know, like $100? A couple people $100 so I can get a rental van. I have a place to store it. I talked to Mikey. I'm not going to take all of the stuff that's in there. I don't have room for it. And I'm going to have to talk about this because it's really important. A bunch of the stuff that's in there was actually from my father's workshop. I had wanted to hold on to it. I wanted to maintain it, yet I ran out of room. So when I got kicked out of the illegal basement apartment that I was in, which was not my fault, that's not my doing, you know, things were supposed to have worked out a little better, and that's the home where it was going to be. I was going to set up a lot of that stuff in the mobile home, and it would have been fine there. However, it wasn't fine, and it was not all going to work out, and it didn't work out, and it is what it is, you know. So anyway, I got to go back up there, make at least one more trip with some stuff, get some of the more studio-related stuff out of there. I don't know what I'm going to do with a lot of the stuff I can take out, but I'm only taking stuff that's practical, right? And so Mikey, my boss, is letting me use a space in, you know, he has a warehouse kind of space. There's a little nook that I can use, and maybe he'll let me set up a studio up there. So, you know, I'm really kind of hoping. So anyway, the video is at 24 minutes, and 24:11. So I'm gonna kind of end this shortly. And do I get a joke? No, I don't really have a joke. But I am happy that the vandalism on the side of the bus, they wrote "bus boys." You know, like, okay, that's not a funny joke, but it's a joke. So I'll just give you a quick view of the night view, right before I cut out the night view. You can hear the cars in the background on the highway. That's right actually at the intersection of 195 and I-95. Yeah, so I just wanted to include you in on the, it's actually, at night it's actually fairly pretty. And I don't dislike this place. I do need to get out. I was telling the guy that was Bob, who was giving me a ride this morning, that I really truly believed I was following the plan of the universe that is for me. I don't really have any kind of a big, huge plan in my life other than going out west, living out west with Jacqueline, right? My sister, she's got a lot of physical pain. She's out there on the mountain with Mike, and I kind of want to, live out there with her. And I want to live where it's warm, and, I don't know. But that's the plan that I have, right? And I don't think God has laughed at me or is laughing at my plans. I just believe that the vehicle I chose was not going to make the trip, and it may just not be the time for that trip to happen. There's still, I got to talk about this in some other video, but there's still work for me to do here, right? You know what I mean? It's still, that was a learning experience. If the worst part about it was I lost money, okay, that money can sort of be replaced. I lost a lot of my dad's stuff, right, that I was holding on to because I didn't want to let it go, right? I should, but I didn't want to. It was, okay, time to let it go. If that's what it is, that's what it is. And I have to understand that. You got to deal with that. That's part of what the full catastrophic living is. The screaming, living through the screaming and crashing, and the end of the world. Is meeting it with a smile. Is you realize, what was I holding on to? What am I holding on to? What's really mine? Thank God I'm still alive, and I'm, whatever. But my stuff that I was using, the stuff that I was planning on using as part of the plan for my future is now no longer accessible. And the plan that I had, such as it was, even though I asked the universe, right, been asking, can't say I didn't include God in on this because I'm, right? I know God exists, but where is he, right? I know God's here. Where, right? In that still small voice, you got to listen. It's knocking on your heart, and you have to meditate, and it's very difficult to get sometimes the right answer, and especially if there's a person who gave you a suggestion and you don't listen to it, right? Like, that's part of it as well. Matt did say run from this, and I talked myself into it. But the other option was more expensive, and I wasn't going to have the versatility I could with this. And I love the bus. I just love that fucking bus, right? I bought that bus because I love the bus, right? That's all there is to it. I thought we could make it work. I thought, but some miracles are too great, right? That just required too much work, right? And that was the problem. Not that it itself wasn't a good thing, but I don't have any experience with it, and it just really needed too much work. It needed to be taken out and run around, and them, debug it, but they didn't do that, and I didn't do it, and, now we're starting over at square one-ish, So anyway, on that cheery note, I'm going to, I'm almost at 30 minutes. So I'm going to end this shortly. And I'm grateful I got a bunch of stuff back. The stuff that I wanted, the majority of stuff that I wanted, I got back. I still have some more. I still want to go through more stuff and get, I have a bunch of totes of food and stuff. That is what it is. But, there's some more stuff from the studio that I want to see if I can find. and some other stuff. So, please, if you can, donate so I can get a rental, truck soon. If someone's got a couple $100, the tow truck company is working with me. I just, I'm not alone. Give me some money, and I owe them some more money. I will, I think, whenever I can, I'll give them some more money or something. I don't know. I don't know, But he's not holding me. He's not withholding my stuff anymore. The tow truck companies. A lot of people made this comment, and it's a matter of getting up there. It's a 37 miles and 44-minute drive. Some backwoods ass shit up there, and it's the woods up there. Anyway, so that's the update, and thank you all for following along, and I appreciate that, especially you, Bradley. Bradley's my number one kind of cheer person, my number one, pretty much my number one fan, and I appreciate everyone. So thank you all for coming today, and have a wonderful rest of your night, and thank you. I appreciate everyone. Namaste. And Sig said, "Don't thank him," so I'm not going to thank Sig, right? So I'm not thanking you, Sig.